I think it would take a few rounds.
Really?
But yeah. First of all, Jake is a lot bigger. Jake's a lot bigger.
But what weight would they fight
Well,
at?
I don't think Jake is getting anywhere lower than 205 pounds.
There's a few Americans, and this might be crazy, I think Jake Paul's got a chance. And I know that sounds crazy, but I do think that there are, where I don't believe anyone over here thinks this goes more than around 2 max.
Joe Rogan is surprised by how much Jake Paul's body has changed before the fight with Anthony Joshua. He says Jake looks very focused and ready. Rogan also mentions that Jake has fought real fighters before, even if some were close to retiring, and Jake still trained very hard for them. He adds that Joshua getting closer to 40 makes the matchup different and more interesting. Rogan says he honestly wants to watch how this battle plays out.
What happens? It would be crazy. I like a little freak show every now and then. As far as, like, would you like to see...
I like
Jake
a
Paul,
lot of freak show.
Look, if Jake Paul wants to fight for the title, I would like to see him beat top contenders in the light heavyweight division or whatever division he chooses to compete at, and then eventually fight for a title. Yeah.
But are the fights even real? Like the Tyson fight? Like I saw video breakdowns of Tyson not throwing punches.
Jake Paul's new body transformation has gotten a lot of attention in the fighting world. A short video online shows him looking sharper, stronger, and in better shape than in any of his past training camps. His posture, his tight movements, and his confident attitude make him look like someone preparing for the biggest challenge of his career. With Anthony Joshua coming up soon, this new version of Jake feels like his answer to people who once called him a joke. He seems ready to prove he deserves to stand with real top-level fighters. Fans are shocked at how much his body has changed in such a short time, showing that this camp is about hard work, not just putting on a show. Former world champion Andre Berto adds an interesting point to the discussion. He says most people want to see Anthony Joshua win with a big knockout, but the situation isn't as easy as it looks. Joshua hasn't had many great performances lately, and Berto suggests that this inconsistency makes the fight hard to predict. Meanwhile, Jake has a strong team of skilled trainers who push him to use his youth, power, and fitness the best he can. Berto believes that even though fans expect an easy win for Joshua, the fight depends on which version of Joshua shows up. With Jake getting better and staying focused, Berto thinks this matchup could honestly go either way.
A lot of people think you our baby. Like, you one of the first ones, and he gonna always take care of Bert. But then Floyd was as massive as he was. So how you split, how you do that?
No, I mean, one thing with Al's always gonna, he got loyalty to, he got big loyalty to Floyd as well. Because they made so much money together. But, it's funny how, he can say whatever he wanna say. You know what I'm saying? It's funny how that, how the fight got, it kind of came about, but they had the Pacquiao and Floyd fight. We all go up there, we check the fight out, good situation. And then just me and my lady, we walking through the casino. What's his name? Rodney Jerkins.
Right.
You know what I mean? Rodney Jerkins, big music producer. Yeah. Y'all can talk to him and ask him. Yeah. Rodney Jerkins, well, he runs up on me.
Some experts look at Jake Paul's training from a money point of view. They talk about how he spars with heavyweight fighters and how both sides benefit. For Jake, fighting bigger opponents helps him feel the kind of power he might face when he meets Joshua. It teaches him to handle pressure, adjust his timing, and stay calm when things get tough. For the heavyweights, the main reward is the money. Training with someone as famous as Jake gives them a much bigger paycheck than they usually get. So these sparring sessions become both good practice and a strong financial chance, making it a win for everyone involved.
I'm not an idiot. I know they're getting a lot of money to be there, and it's easy work. But what is in that for Lawrence Okoli, Frank Sanchez, and Jared Anderson?
Easy money. I don't know how much he'll be paying sparring partners. I assume to get those caliber of sparring partners in, it's got to be big money.
Lawrence Okoli's got a fight coming up. If you're Joe Gallagher, you go spar Jake Paul, is that going to help you?
No, absolutely not. Are you going to get a bit of profile from it, perhaps? People are going to hear your name? Yeah. Does that help? I remember going to spar with Kessler, and I got 500 pounds or euros for the week. It was the hardest money I've ever earned in my
Yeah,
life.
but how much did you learn from?
Yeah, me, bundles.
Yeah. What's a Coley learn? I don't get it.
No.
I mean, I do get it, the money. But when you got a fight coming up, I'm thinking, really? Are you going to get anything out of that sparring that's going to help you in your fight? Maybe you are. Maybe I'm just completely diminishing Jake Paul's ability, but I'm struggling. I really am.
Fair play to Jake Paul. I mean...
And you're right, there's a bit of a conflict there because Joshua used to manage him.
Yeah, it was through 258, right?
Yeah. But surely they're smashing him to pieces. Surely Jake's going, oh, what the fuck? This is fucking horrible.
Every single one of those 3 fighters there could annihilate him in a round.
Yeah, so are they not doing that? I've got so many questions.
Brendan Schaub and Brian Callen share a different view, focusing on Anthony Joshua. They say Joshua needs to understand what he represents when he steps into this fight. For them, it's not just about winning, it's about protecting the reputation of boxing. Since the fight will stream on Netflix, millions of casual viewers will watch, and many will judge the sport based on how Joshua performs. Schaub and Callen say Joshua must treat this fight like a message to the world. He needs to enter the ring with focus, discipline, and strong determination, showing why he is still one of boxing's biggest stars. They stress that this is not the time for fear or second-guessing.
But, again, if mentally he's not like, all right, I got a job to do, I'm representing boxing, a lot of American fans don't know me, this will be the most watched thing on fucking Netflix ever for sports-wise, so I got to make a good, showing. Hopefully he has that approach. I assume he does, because he did with Francis, he was like, nah, bitch, the train stops here.
Yeah,
And Tyson Fury's a little more of a character. Hey, wow, what are we gonna do? Let's move around a little bit.
When I remember,
shit.
I remember when he caught Klitschko with that uppercut, Anthony Joshua,
and he got caught. He got set down.
Klitschko, yes, and Klitschko is a big man. You're just dealing with literally a different ecosystem, man.
But that's what makes it. That's why it's a brilliant move by Jake. Because his fan base is like, oh my God, Jake, it's David versus Goliath, literally. It's this YouTuber Disney kid. Look how far he's come. He's actually going to do it. What if he wins? So there's that demo of his. And then there's the rest of the world who go, and they're so off on this, but they go, we got to get Jake Paul out of boxing. I can't wait to see his head get knocked off by Anthony Joshua. And that's the majority, right? So those two worlds mix, and you get the most watched boxing match on Netflix ever. More so than Mike Tyson at fucking 77 in a fake sparring match. This, So if you're Jake, it's brilliant.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so let's go through it. Let's say Jake gets knocked out 1 minute. Okay.
Sports analyst Ade Oladipo adds more to the conversation by pointing out the changes Joshua has made in his training. He says Joshua has updated his style, improved his rhythm, and is taking this fight very seriously. At the same time, Oladipo believes Jake isn't clueless either. Since Jake knows Joshua is changing, he has probably made his own adjustments, trying new techniques and improving small details that might help him. Oladipo says Jake understands that this chance requires his very best. Because both fighters are changing and improving for this matchup, he believes Jake has a real chance to create a moment that shocks everyone.
AJ is now training with that camp. And I mean, if you are Jake Paul, I mean, shit just got even more real. So AJ's taking it that serious. He's now training with the Usyk camp, not just for your fight, but for fights going forward. This isn't AJ saying, okay, you know what, I'm just going to train myself. Just get in shape and maybe just train with my amateur coach. This is AJ saying, no, we're going to train with Usyk's team. And I'm basically meaning, or I'm saying I'm going to get in the best shape of my life. You want me to get down to 245 pounds? No problem. We've done that before, and that was one of my best performances before. Obviously, I'm talking about AJ versus Usyk too. So, yeah, I still can't believe it's happening, but it is happening. It will do incredible numbers. I've said that I think it will do numbers as big as Canelo Crawford. Some people have laughed at that. Don't laugh. Honestly, because Canelo Crawford over here, it would have been a small, minute percentage of people that would have watched it on Netflix over here. AJ fighting over here, everyone's watching it. Everyone's watching it. Everyone's watching it in Africa because that's the impact AJ has. And obviously everyone's going to be watching it in America because of Jake Paul. And then because of how that photo looked. Again, David versus Goliath. People are now way more intrigued than they were for Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul. So I'm intrigued as to how it looks in the first 20 seconds, and then I'll be able to just make my mind up as to how long this goes. But I will still stand firm and say AJ should, not will, should get rid of Jake Paul in one round. Should. And if he doesn't, then I don't know what that means.
On Boxing Scene today, analysts said this fight is one of the boldest choices Jake Paul has ever made. They explained that he could have picked easier opponents and slowly built his record. Instead, he chose to face a former heavyweight champion known for big knockouts and strong skills. This choice brings huge risk but also huge reward. If Jake does well, even if he loses, people will see him differently. If he wins, it could change the boxing world in a big way. The analysts say Jake taking such a dangerous fight shows how serious he is about earning a real place in the sport.
But listen, Joshua's done this already. He fought a guy that he was supposed to destroy,
Right.
And then he went out there and he destroyed him. And he didn't play with his food. Yep. He didn't say, okay, it was Ngannou I'm talking about, obviously.
Of course.
Who gave Tyson Fury fits and really had everyone questioning Tyson Fury's ability because he struggled with an MMA fighter in his pro boxing debut. Anthony Joshua didn't do that. He went out there and did what we all expected Tyson Fury to do, and completely wiped the floor with the guy. And if Joshua doesn't do that this fight, I agree with you, Jimmy. It's going to hurt his stock. It's going to hurt the way that people perceive him moving forward. And also, I think, honestly, and if he doesn't go out there and just lay into Jake Paul and end it in the first, if not second round, to me, it's gonna look fishy to me. It's gonna look like this was a setup. This was an exhibition. This wasn't a real fight. If this is a real fight, it should be over in 90 seconds because Anthony Joshua is a legit gold medalist, super heavyweight, crazy athlete, awesome power, and Jake Paul just isn't on that level in any way. And he's not in end. He's undersized. You know, Jake Paul was fighting a cruiserweight in his last fight. He was under 200 pounds. You know, Joshua is a legit 250 pounds with abs, and the guy punches with the right hand like a cannon.
The one advantage Jake Paul has had in previous fights, and we all know people who have worked with him, and they go, he's got natural power. He can hit pretty well for his size. Not elite, right? Not world champion, but he can hit pretty well for his size. Paulie, that one advantage that he's had in previous fights is completely gone in this one. Yes or no?
Yeah, I mean, I still think Jake can hit a little bit.
Yeah,
He may be able, if you hit Joshua on the chin, you can hurt him. But that's been what if Mike Tyson?
You gotta
lands,
get there, Chad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What if Mike Tyson lands on Jake? What if Arturo Gatti would have hit Floyd Mayweather? I can remember that argument back 20 years ago. The what if he hits him on the chin usually doesn't happen.
Sean Jones, the analyst, looks at the marketing plan behind Jake's career. He explains that Jake keeps calling himself the YouTuber fighting Anthony Joshua because it grabs attention and helps sell the story. But behind that image, Jake is no longer the beginner people once ignored. He has fought real opponents, built a strong training system, and turned himself into a true professional athlete. The analysts say Jake still uses the entertainer angle on purpose because it brings in more viewers. But his real identity has changed. The man getting ready for Joshua isn't just an online star anymore. He's a serious boxer with real skills.
Does is he still positions himself as a YouTuber, as a Disney star. I'm just a YouTuber, guys, and I'm going up against Anthony Joshua. All the cards are stacked against me, and I think people still buy into that narrative. Jake Paul is a bad boxer. He can't box. When I've seen pretty notable boxers say, look, Jake Paul is decent. I've seen a few people on my last video saying, how dare you say Jake Paul is a decent boxer. You've got to remember, when I say Jake Paul is decent, I'm not talking about within the context of being a world champion. I'm just talking about he's learned to box pretty okay, better than most people. He has actually beaten a couple pro boxers. Now, I know once again we have the caveat that the last pro boxer he fought wasn't a full-time boxer, hadn't fought in a couple of years, and his last two fights were losses. I get it, but he has still fought like 2 or 3 pro boxers, so he can box, but there are different levels to being able to box. Everyone can box. It's just to what level. Jake Paul has been doing this since, was it 2018, his first fight, or 2019? We're going into 2026. It's like 6 years, 7 years. He's been training consistently with a good team. How do you Jake Paul haters not understand that? Even you, if you trained for that long and you've got millions of dollars sparring pro fighters in your fight camps, you're going to get pretty decent. Oh my God, it's not hard to understand. Try and drop the narrative that I hate Jake Paul so much, he's this, he's that, he's a knobhead, he can't box. Yeah, he might be a knobhead, he might be a divvy, but he can box. But I'm not saying he can box to the level of Joshua. Fucking hell, listen to the friggin' context, will yous?
Little Josh is signed to my enemy, Eddie Hearn.
Combat analyst Luke Thomas looks at the matchup in a very technical way. He says Joshua isn't just a big athlete, he's a very skilled one. His experience helps him spot patterns fast, understand what his opponent wants to do, and apply smart pressure. Thomas says Joshua's biggest strength is his intelligence in the ring. He knows how to slowly break an opponent down by controlling distance, timing counters, and causing mistakes. Thomas believes Jake must be ready to face not just power, but a smart, careful fighter who has been at the top of the heavyweight division for years. To survive, Jake needs to stay disciplined, avoid wild punches, and fight with calm, clear strategy.
He just hits really hard for that weight class. Anthony Joshua is a gigantic 6'6" heavyweight. Now, he is coming off of a devastating KO loss himself to another big heavyweight named Daniel Dubois. This was a big show. But Jake Paul, while, has a decent pop for a guy who has not been doing boxing that long, it's almost incomprehensible. This is the kind of thing the state would never have regulated before. They now seem much more open to it than they ever once were. But I also think that there might be something happening, and this is, I'm speculating. I want to be clear. I'm not giving you skinny, but I don't understand how you can go from a bout with a guy that you are massively oversized against, who's very good, to one who you are massively undersized against, who's also very good, who's a devastating, dangerous puncher. It's like, does he owe Netflix something? Is he feeling the heat to produce for them because the Gervonta fight kind of fizzled out for all the reasons that it did? I honestly don't know, but I'm not even doing a bit here. I'm legitimately concerned for his health.
It looks like Rocky's facing off Ivan Drago. When you look at their pictures standing, it looks like something that's cinematic that you'd be like, that would never happen in boxing.
Right. Honestly, maybe even a little bit worse than that, just in terms of the size of Anthony Joshua. I want to make a caveat. I've been covering this industry for so long that I've just seen so many crazy things happen that, yes, we cannot rule out the possibility that Jake Paul could win here. Again, he's got a little bit of pop, and Anthony Joshua is coming off of a devastating KO loss. But the difference in ability and the difference in accomplishment and the difference in size and the difference in what they've shown is so enormous that I'm honestly shocked.
Michael Bisping adds a viewpoint focused on entertainment. He knows many critics dislike this matchup and think the skill gap is too big, but he says that this very controversy will bring huge interest. He compares it to the Tyson versus Jake fight, where even though many complained, millions still watched. Bisping thinks this fight will be the same. The mix of curiosity, arguments, and excitement will make people tune in to see if Jake can really stand in the ring with someone as experienced as Joshua. In Bisping's view, the public won't be able to stay away from watching what happens.
Exhibition matches, right? The whole idea of it is that it's an exhibition, right? For the Jake Paul fans, for the Anthony Joshua fans, so everyone can tune into Netflix and it will be a spectacle, just like Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson, right? That was a farce, it was a spectacle, but it was one of the most watched sporting events that year. Maybe of all time, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but a lot of people tuned in to watch that, okay? And that was an exhibition, and that's what this will probably be. I mean, it's like Thunder Lips versus Rocky back in the day. Remember Thunder Lips, played by Hulk Hogan?
Thunder Lips is here. In the flesh, baby.
Oh my God. Right? He goes up against Rocky Balboa. Rocky 3, by the way. Love the Rocky movies. Some of the best boxing films of all time. And what happens? Thunder Lips is going absolutely mental in the ring. Okay? He's trying to kill Rocky Balboa. Picks him up, throws him out the ring. Rocky gets in there having a good old-fashioned tear-up. And then at the end of it, Thunder Lips wants a picture because it was all bullshit. Okay, it was all an exhibition. It was all for the fans, okay?
While you're still calm, can we get that Polaroid together? Yeah, sure.
And that's all this is, okay? Granted, I don't know. Maybe they come out and they say, oh, no, this is legit. This is a real sanctioned heavyweight boxing matchup. I don't think they will. But if they do, I'll still call number one goddamn bull on that. Simple.
That's all for today's video. Stay tuned and see you next time.